Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
How old is George?
He is 2.5 now.
Okay,
Yes.
so a fun kind of experiencing new foods and different things. Dinner is always like probably a different experience for him.
Absolutely. He's definitely a hungry little 2.5-year-old.
Well, by the way, lucky George for having a dad who's an executive chef.
Yeah.
You're making a weekday or a weeknight Bolognese. By the way, here's your beautiful family right there. Look at that.
Gorgeous.
Looking good. So the Bolognese, this is something that you're saying we can just throw together during the week, like regular people who are not chefs?
Absolutely. So you grab a good recipe, you build it in bulk, and then you can use it in different ways throughout the week to feed the little ones.
I love it. And we can always hide some veggies in, which I think is kind of your deal today, right?
Absolutely. So Bolognese allows us to really just put anything inside we want him to eat that he won't eat kind of regularly. So we do take some grated zucchini.
Okay.
We add that to the mix once we kind of put everything else to the Bolognese. Truly never knows it's there, and he gets all his good vegetables.
It smells so good. And the base of this dish, by the way, these are ingredients that everyone should have, or most people should have, in their cabinets at home. You're talking about vegetable oil, butter, onion, celery, carrot, zucchini, and then today you're making it with ground beef, salt and pepper. But could people substitute something else like ground turkey or even like a meatless meat?
Absolutely. You could do all veggies. You could also incorporate pork. A good Bolognese usually has pork, beef, veal, all types of cuts in it. So, yeah.
It sounds great. So now you've got it simmering, right? And you have all the veggies with the meat in there?
Absolutely. So we've browned the meat, sauteed the veggies. We then add a little bit of tomato paste to it, which is important.
And that's kind of the binder, right?
Absolutely. It's going to add some depth of flavor to it.
That's tomato paste like in a toothpaste container?
Yes.
Absolutely. Easier.
Where do you get that?
Easier to use and store as well.
Wow.
So you can buy that at Central Market, Kroger, any of your local stores.
It is a great idea too, because oftentimes if you get even those little tomato paste cans and you only need a little bit, but you got the whole can open.
Now you got a tube.
And it doubles as toothpaste, folks.
Who knew?
Take it on your next vacation.
Absolutely.
I know.
So then next we're going to take the milk, whole milk Bolognese. That's really what makes a good Bolognese. You're adding milk to it. It's ultimately going to break down the meat, add a very good texture to it, bind things together.
Okay. And then this is a weekday, so maybe it doesn't have to cook all day. We're doing it kind of quickly, right?
Absolutely. So, Bolognese, you can really let it sit as long as you'd like. And so, feeding a kid and trying to do it on the fly, we usually let it sit for 30 minutes. And
it's good enough at that point.
Yes.
And then what else would we add into the pot?
From that point on, we're going to add our beef stock and crushed tomatoes. And then we're going to season this, bring it to a boil, turn it down to a simmer, and then basically pull it when we're ready to go.
And season, is just salt and pepper?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Very
and
basic
because of the little one as well, we don't add a lot of salt to it. Of course, a little bit of black pepper goes a long way inside. So
look at that. It does smell so good. And you mentioned, Chef, that the whole milk is a critical part of this process. Is that because it has a higher fat content and so the flavors just sort of come together better?
Absolutely. And you can even use a heavy cream to it if you really want to intensify the flavor. Truly add a creamy texture to it. Heavy cream even works.
But don't go for like skim milk or almond milk or something like that.
No, absolutely
not.
Shame. Don't do that. While that's simmering a little bit more, we want to tell people about Relish, one of my favorite restaurants in town, of course, in the River Oaks area. But you've been actually cooking since you were like 16, is that right?
Absolutely. So I did a lot of cooking around the house. My family cooked quite a bit on the weekends. Sundays was kind of a day to gather for us all to go over to my grandparents' house. So started cooking young, found myself enjoying it, and really kind of dove into professional cooking when I was 19 years old.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is so great. And at the heart of Relish, one of your themes is really that food should just be simple, uncomplicated, accessible to the masses. Nothing that's using super fancy ingredients, right?
Absolutely. We take fresh ingredients, and we like to say we're, not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're, cooking good fresh food for you.
Absolutely, all day long. And speaking of good fresh food, now once we've done this, the sauce, the Bolognese sauce, the extras, can we freeze, Chef, and use it later?
Absolutely. That's one thing that is great with the sauce itself. You freeze it, you pull it as you need it.
Okay.
We even freeze and pull our lasagnas, which I'm going to show you how to make here. We freeze this in the ramekin itself,
kidding.
pull it, and then ultimately just throw it in the oven for the little guys.
Oh, wow. Well, let's
It
make
allows
that.
it allows you to put together a few ahead of time and
Right.
pull them as you need them.
This is a very simple lasagna you've got here. We're tight on time, but show us how you assemble this,
Perfect.
Chef.
So I'm going to bring in a little bit of this. This is the already made Bolognese that we have here.
Okay.
Right.
So I'll put this here.
I would never think to freeze something in a ramekin. How long does it stay good in the freezer if you choose to freeze it?
Well, it usually doesn't last very long in our house, and so a couple weeks at most. And I'd say, within a few days, it's just like the state that it was in when you froze it.
Okay, so now do we put this, is this the noodle or that's
Yes,
cheese?
and so
No,
we're
that's
going to
the
lay
noodle.
down. That's our pasta. We basically
Okay.
buy. My wife will buy pre-made pasta sheets. Central Market. We'll cook them off, and then
Yeah.
we'll use a little cutter to make sure to mold the correct
see.
size to our ramekin.
Okay.
Most important part is little tomato sauce on the bottom so it doesn't crust to the actual ramekin itself. And so from that point on, we start with a little ricotta cheese.
All right.
And then we're ultimately always going to add a little bit of sauce to the top, a little bit of mozzarella, and another piece of this. And so when we do that, we basically just push it down, and then we alternate layers. And
Okay.
so
Adding
this
that
here is
bolognese
just
in
going
the
to go
middle.
over the top. A little bit of tomato sauce on that as well.
And if you didn't want to freeze it, if you were going to eat it just right away, you would pop it in the oven?
Absolutely, and so 350 is a great thing to bake things at. If you want the top to be nice and crispy with cheese, add some Parmesan to it, and then stick it under your broiler.
That looks like a good weeknight menu.
And here is our finished product over here on this end of the bar. And you can always add some fresh Parmesan, right, Chef?
Absolutely, and that's one thing we love the little guy to do. He always loves to kind of add the last little bits to it, so we
Look at
do.
that,
Anything
fresh
with
Parmesan.
Parmesan goes really well with the little ones.
Oh, that is so good.
Well, Chef Dustin Teague, thank you so much with Relish. We're going to stop by and see you again at the restaurant. It's been a minute since we've been in. In the meantime, if you guys would like to see the complete recipes that Chef Dustin made today, you can check out our website, HoustonLife.tv.
And we'll be right back. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Great recipe.